Hello, 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 everybody. Good morning. It is Wednesday, July 24th, 2024. And I have had my physical. So yesterday was Tuesday, and we went to the doctor's. I met with my doctor for about 40 minutes, and she did all the tests, all the blood work, all the things. And yeah, let's discuss. So, for anybody who does not know me, I am Cheryl. This is my channel, and I have been on Zepbound since February 27th of this year. So, just about coming up on 5 months. And I will have a 5 month recap coming shortly. But today we're just going to go over the doctor's appointment and all the labs and things that she did yesterday. So if you are new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you are returning, welcome. Thank you so much. And if you find this video helpful at all, if you could go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it to anybody who you think may benefit from any of this information. So I had my doctor's appointment and I got all new labs yesterday. So to the amazing, beautiful, wonderful lab tech who took my blood yesterday and I had a beautiful conversation with and subscribed while I was sitting there with her. Welcome. I am so thrilled to have you here. And thank you for like almost no mark in my arm, painless and pain-free. So thumbs up to South Coast Family Physicians, to the labs over there in Swansea. Thank you so much and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, so I had my doctor's appointment. You guys know I'm not a huge fan of doctors. And I'm trying really hard with this one. So last year was my first appointment with this particular doctor. My doctor had retired and, sorry, my chair is a little low. My doctor had retired and I hadn't seen a new doctor, and they kept calling me saying, you really need to come in. So I finally went and met. I picked a new doctor in the office and I met with her, and I seemed like I kind of was gelling with her. I was like, okay, I'm going to give her a chance. I'll make the second appointment. And then you guys know there was some issues with the CKD and how all of this transpired, and I wasn't thrilled. But again, I decided to try to take my health seriously. And in doing so, you need to see the doctor on a regular basis, right? I make my children go, but when it comes to ourselves, we're always really lax in that department. So I made my physical again, and I went yesterday. So in talking before we even got into the Zepbound and anything else, she asked me, what had been going on. So I explained to her that I had just come back from vacation. And on the way home, it's a 4-hour drive. So it's usually like about a 3.5 to 3:40, but there was some traffic. There was some road issues here and there. So it took about 4 hours and 15 minutes. My husband was driving. By the time we got home, I'm not sure if I had mentioned this in the last video or not. The days are just all running together. My feet and from my knees to my feet were really, really swollen. So we got home, we unpacked, and we went to the racetrack. And once I kind of got there, I realized I was really swollen. Like there was like marks being left in my legs and in my feet. And I was like, dang, I don't really remember ever experiencing that so badly before in travel. I mean, we've gone on planes, to California from the East Coast. So, 7.5 hours on a plane, and I don't remember things being this bad. I have, however, suffered from a lot of edema, a lot of swelling since my surgeries. So, it was almost 2 years ago, I had ankle reconstruction and I'm still getting some swelling there. That hasn't subsided. And then last August, about 11 months ago, I had ACL surgery on the other side. So it was my right ankle, my left knee. But that's been a lot better. So I haven't really experienced a lot of that recently. And actually, since the Zepbound, a lot of the swelling has started to go down in the ankle, which has been good. Um, so yeah, the swelling was kind of intense. And then I started noticing I just had a lot of random pain. So I also have fibromyalgia. And I was just feeling really kind of blah. And it kind of started midway when I wasn't feeling good through vacation week. Um, and I think I did a lot of extra activity, a lot of stuff. And like I told the doctor, I kind of feel like I got a little cocky, like maybe a little overconfident, like, ooh, I lost 30 pounds. I can do all these things now. And I could, but I didn't realize the suffrage that would come with it. So I've been in a lot of pain. My knees are absolutely killing me. My back's killing me. Like just kind of everything has been hurting. So I did, tell her that that was something that was kind of bothering me. I was just feeling like really crappy the last couple of days. The fibromyalgia was really kicking my butt. And I was assuming it was from the car ride. And immediately she goes into, so she has it in my chart as trauma, that I have suffered trauma in my life. And immediately she asks me for my phone number and she sends me this podcast about trauma, telling me that like I really, and she did this last time too. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I really need to focus on the trauma in my life. And I need to watch this podcast and I need to see these doctors and I need to do all these things. And that the fibromyalgia and the weight gain and all of this is from trauma in my life. And I'm like, listen, like no disrespect. Like I get that, you think you're trying to help. I said, but like, I don't feel like I've suffered from trauma. Like, I don't know why that's in my chart. I'd appreciate it if you would take it out. I really don't understand it. And she's like, well, tell me more about what happened. And it's like, it's in my chart. And I was like, listen, I had an ex-husband. He had this, and this. Like he's deceased. He's gone. This is not an issue in my life anymore. I'm happily married for the last 16 years, last Friday. I have a great husband. I have a great life. Like I'm fine. This is not stuff that I'm dwelling on. And I literally looked at it and I'm like, not for nothing, but like I've been fat my whole life. So like, don't blame my obesity on trauma that I suffered from my first marriage. Like that's almost not even fair to my ex-husband. He's no longer here. That's not the problem. And she basically said that people, not everyone can accept and deal with these things. And, you'll have to do it in your own time. Like she's basically telling me that like, when the time is right, I'll deal with it. And until then, she'll just be there to help me if I need it. And I was like, this is not the problem. So I was a little turned off by that. And I'm trying to get past it. I don't really understand like where she's coming from and why she thinks this is such a major issue, but I assure you it's not. Like I have you guys to talk to. I'm fine. But anyway, so that was kind of like the beginning of the appointment. And I was like, you need to take it back a step. Like we need to figure out what else. And I guess she thinks like this is the root of all my problems. I assure you, I've been fat since I was 7. Like this is not the root of all of, it's just not. And I'm sure that there's going to be some beautiful people who are going to say, in time, I promise you I am fine. I am the most vocal person about my feelings. Ask my husband, like if there was an issue. Anyway, so from there, we started talking about the Zepbound and the CKD. So I did ask her specifically about calorie intake, because I know all of us have discussed this in the past. The app that I currently use tells me that my calorie intake, so when I was first using MyFitnessPal, it was telling me like 1,089 calories. And then I changed to my Net Diary and my calorie intake is like 1,206. And I know a lot of you have said that that's way too low. I should be closer to 1,600. So I asked her, And to be honest, she really didn't know. So, I'll see my new cup. Isn't that so cute? I love it. And the baby loves it. I don't know if it's the black or the purple, but the baby just stares at it. So the baby loves it too. So she wasn't 100% sure. She said that she thought 1200 sounded a little low, but she didn't really know. So she does want me to see a nutritionist at this point. And I actually did make the appointment today. I was kind of like, but I do think I need to see the nutritionist because, so anybody who is new and does not know, I am currently diagnosed with obesity, fatty liver disease, chronic kidney failure. So if you hear me say CKD, it's chronic kidney failure, stage 3A is where I'm at right now, along with apparently trauma, fibromyalgia, TMJ. I have terrible TMJ in my joints here. I'm trying to think of what else. But so those are the major things that I'm dealing with. Obviously, the CKD kind of being number one. And something else that we discussed very briefly, because like I said, she wasn't 1000% sure, it's not her specialty. And I do have an appointment in August with the nutritionist, is with the CKD, you also have to be careful with your protein intake. So you guys know that I have struggled with getting that like 100 grams of protein a day. And things that I'm reading online is basically saying that with CKD, you're closer to like a 47 grams a day. And I just don't know. So I'm hoping that this nutritionist will be able to help me, on both levels with the calorie intake, with the protein intake, but also with it being healthy for the CKD as well as weight loss. You know what I mean? So at this point, I am starting to realize that I'll be 52 next month. The CKD is kind of like number one. This is the thing that I need to have in control and stay in control and concentrate more on than the weight loss. So the weight loss is a huge part of my life, and I need to do it. But I'm starting to realize that the CKD is kind of the trump card, no pun intended, that I really need to concentrate on keeping that in check. And we've been doing that. So I will give you my test results in just a second. But I am realizing that the CKD has to be first and foremost, because my goal, and this is going to have to be a lifelong goal for the rest of my life, I am currently at a CKD stage 3A, and that is where I want to stay. I don't want to go any further than that. My doctor did tell me that if I get to CKD stage 3B, that is when she would, and for my beautiful bestie, who I'm sure will watch this eventually, because you're more concerned with my labs than I am, because she is an RN. I did ask about the nephrologist, and she told me that if I got to a 3B, that is when she would refer me. That currently, if patients are being referred to nephrology at 3A, the nephrologists almost get upset with them, especially, I'm talking directly to my bestie right now. She knows the network that I'm in for doctors and stuff because she works for them. Especially with that network that we're talking about, the specialists get upset because there's really nothing more that can be done. She's watching me, she's done the ultrasound, she's doing the blood work. I'm on the Zepbound, which appears to be doing what we're hoping it will do, and hoping what all of the studies that are currently being done will show. So I'm steadily staying where I need to be. If for some reason that changes and my levels change, at that point she will send me to a nephrologist. But she is assuring me that there is nothing more that they can do at this point. So that's kind of where I'm at health-wise. So let's just get into my labs. So my labs are looking really well. Is it 1,000% the Zepbound? I don't know. I'm going to go with yes, because the Zepbound has changed my diet and my routine. So before Zepbound, I wouldn't eat breakfast ever. Now, in place of that, I have some protein shake in there, and occasionally like a protein bar or a nutrition bar or a fruit or something like that in the morning before 12 o'clock. And I did realize once I started this medication, I was eating way too much lunch, which is weird because I was never like, there would be days where I was like, oh my God, I can't wait till lunch, I'm starving. But other days where I was like, didn't even realize what time it was and was like, oh, I have to go to lunch now because it's my allotted lunch time. And then I was with students, so I had to be back at a certain time. And once I started packing my lunch for protein and for fueling my body, I started to realize that I was packing way too much before. And I would pack either a sandwich or leftovers and something crispy or salty and something desserty. And I don't know why. I don't know why, if it's just, you think meal and you're like, you need this. I don't know what the reason was, but I was packing it and couldn't finish it, couldn't eat it because of the Zepbound. I wasn't as hungry. I didn't have as much hunger. And it was coming home with me. And there'd be days where I'd have like sugar-free Jell-O and I would not eat it and leave it in my lunchbox so what I would do in the morning, I would get to school, my lunchbox would go in the refrigerator. Then when I would eat, after I would eat, I would take my lunchbox with me. It wouldn't go back in the refrigerator because I would be going back to classes. And I would get home and I would have like a melted Jell-O or a warm yogurt or a warm cheese stick or something like that. And I was throwing food away. And I was like, but why am I packing this? I'm not hungry. I don't need it. So I have realized those things and started to change that as well. So the change in diet and the added water, I think, is definitely helped my labs. Now, that's not to say my labs were not horrific. So I know that there's a lot of you who were diabetic, whose A1Cs were terrible, who have CKD, whose labs were worse than mine. But mine weren't terrible, but they have improved for sure. So we'll just go through super quick. Hold on. I'm still finishing my coffee, and I just want to get this video out to you guys because I haven't posted any Zepbound related stuff recently, and I've just got a week. So Monday I was in Connecticut babysitting the baby. Yesterday I had my physical, and then my son and I drove 2.5 hours to New Hampshire so he could purchase a new truck because we had an accident with our old truck, well, his old truck. And then 3 hours back with traffic. So we didn't get back until 6:30 last night. And then from there, he took us out to dinner because I had gone with him on this trip. And now today I'm trying to get this out here for you guys. And then my son has a doctor's appointment and I have a client coming over in a little while that I'm doing a cruise for. Tomorrow I'm back to Connecticut to babysit the baby. And then Friday I have to go to my real job, my insurance providing job, to start getting trained. And that's kind of what the next few weeks is going to be like. So, yeah, let's just get into it. So one main thing with the CKD that is an indicator for some type of kidney problems is I'm going to say this wrong, your creatinine, it's not creatine, it's creatinine. Sure, we'll go with creatinine. And these levels indicate kidney function. So my creatine level is actually improved. So I'm just going to go, so it is still high and it will probably always remain high because once you have chronic kidney disease, it doesn't go away. So at this point, all I can do is maintain a stage 3A. I won't go lower than that. This is kind of where I am. So staying at this level is kind of the life goal at this point, not going to a stage 4. Stage 5 is dialysis. So staying at 3A for the rest of my life would be perfect. That would be where we want. There is no cure. There is no current medication. There's nothing to make this go back down. So my levels have kind of always been within the same functionality. So between like a 1 to like a 1.26. So a normal level for your creatinine, somebody help me here, is 0.50 to 0.10, 1.0, sorry. So mine has always been high. So I started out at a 1, and that was back in 2012. And my highest being last year at the doctor 1 year ago, this week, which was 1.26. So that's still, pretty high. And I am currently at 1.15. So we have dropped 12. Is it 12? Yeah. We have dropped 11 points, which is great. So I'm still within that same kind of high level, but my numbers have gone down since my last appointment. So we're still leveled right there at that particular lab. So my EGFR, which is how well your kidneys remove waste, this one, the doctor was a little concerned. Like, she kind of thought that this one was going to be not great because on the Zepbound, we all know that, going to the bathroom is a little bit of a problem. You guys know that I swear by my Benefiber. When I am regularly taking the Benefiber, I have no problems. When I forget, like on vacation, that's when problems start to arise. So I highly recommend, so this is a prebiotic fiber supplement. So, you can want probiotics, prebiotics in your body to help with that gut health anyway. These don't taste terrible. I don't mind taking them. They taste like a sweet tart but they're not super sweet. They're not super chalky. These are like assorted fruits. I get them right on Amazon or at Walmart. They're like $10 and they last about a month. So the recommended dosage is 2-3 times a day. I strive and aim to take it twice a day. I take it in the morning and in the evening. And that's been working really good for me. So that is that. Oh, sorry, my computer is unplugged. I don't know why, and I don't want that to go away. So my EGFRs are currently at 50 mLs, which is still low, but still not really changing. So a normal range for this particular lab would be 60 to 115. I am 50 right now, but I've always kind of been, for the last 13, 14 years, I have been in the 45 to 55 range. So I'm right there, kind of where I've always been for that one as well. And then my BUN, which checks for waste products in the blood, which measures like the amount of nitrogen in your blood, is actually currently, a normal range is 9 to 23, and I am at 14. So I am in the normal range for that. So that isn't a problem. My cardiac risk factor, so it's funny because in the notes from last year, she put that I was at cardiac risk, but I don't appear, like my labs didn't appear to be at cardiac risk, but my cardiac risk factor has dropped 0.8 anyway. So that is good. My total protein is normal at 7.1. My ALC, so this one is one that I'm sure, more people would be interested in. So my A1C was not diabetic, and it was not exactly pre-diabetic, but it was definitely creeping closer to pre-diabetic. So at one point, so your A1C should be between 4.0 and 6.0. So I was at a 5.6 at one point, and I am at a 4.8 right now. So I wasn't quite pre-diabetic, but I was definitely getting close to pre-diabetic. And I am at a 4.8, which puts me like really in the normal range, nowhere near pre-diabetic anymore. So that also is really, really good. My glucose EAGs are also really, really good. Again, this wasn't, so a normal range for this would be 85 to 126. The highest that I was at was a 102.5. I am currently 91.1. So really, really a good range right there. One that had been extremely high last time was my potassium. And this also is a result of the CKD. And I was really high, well, not really high, but I was high enough that she was, wanting to check things more. So a normal range for your potassium would normally be 3.5 to 5.1. My last appointment last July, I was 5.3. I am currently at 4.4. So in a perfectly normal, good range for that. So everything else was all, good. All of these have dropped, except for, anything that had to do with my CKD, like the creatinine, the GFR. Those are all still, but they've gone, they're a little bit better, but they're all still where we need them to be at this point. So yeah, I'm thrilled with my labs. She, I'm sure will be happy when she sends me a note. I don't anticipate anything, everybody knows how strange it is now that we actually have access to all of our lab work and everything before a doctor even looks at it. But nothing looks concerning, so I don't anticipate hearing from her. She has referred me to water physical therapy for the fibro. I probably won't have time for that, but we'll see what happens. The nutritionist, and I did just schedule that appointment for August 21st. So I will be seeing the nutritionist to talk about calorie intake, BMI, and protein intake specifically for CKD. So that is something that I will let you guys know, because I know that there's a lot of talk out there about getting in all of these grams of protein, like 100, 120 grams of protein. And I struggle to get in 60. So I will be really interested to see what this nutritionist says about the CKD and the protein, and if I should be actually getting in that lower amount, and then how to do that to actually be losing weight. So that will be coming the end of August after I see that with the doctor. So as far as the CKD, my doctor said, do everything that we're still doing, see the nutritionist, drinking lots of water and getting a lot of sleep are the two main things to do, and that I should be doing for CKD. And I have to say, my sleep, the last week and a half been terrible. But as far as the Zepbound, my sleep has improved. So I don't know if it's the medication or if it's the weight loss, but my sleep had been getting better. And then staying away from the NSAIDs. So this is one that I have to really try to focus on. I don't take a lot of pain medication, Tylenol, Advil, all of those things. But when I do start to feel the fibro flare-ups, I will tend to go towards Aleve and things like that, just for the swelling. So I have to force myself, actually, I have to go buy some Tylenol because I very rarely have Tylenol in the house. I think everybody automatically goes to Advil and like naproxen, Aleve in my house, and that's bad. And I've been trying to tell my son this as well. Sorry, hold on. Because he's been having a lot of stomach issues lately, and he takes Advil like Tic Tacs. So I'm going to buy some Tylenol so that if I am having some pain, I will do that instead, because I do tend to, I always have Advil on hand, and I have Aleve on hand as well. So that's something that I need to concentrate on changing as well. Let's see. So the other thing that her and I discussed about the Zepbound, she was thrilled with the 30 pounds, like 30 plus, but you guys know I had gained some weight. So 30 pounds, she actually said, you've lost an excessive amount of weight. So I guess for a doctor, 30 pounds in the 5 months was excessive, but she was happy with it. She wasn't saying like, oh my God, it's too much. She was thrilled. So that was good. And we discussed the dosing. So she basically asked me, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want you to give me some direction. And basically she said, as far as she's concerned, she does have a lot of patients that are currently taking GLPs and GLP-1s. And if anybody's unsure what I'm talking about Zepbound. So Zepbound, the medication is tirzepatide that comes in the form of a pen. Zepbound is used for chronic obesity, for weight loss. If you are diagnosed with a BMI over 30, you're going to be considered obese. And this medication is being prescribed for people with obesity. The same exact medication in the name Mounjaro is prescribed for people with type 2 diabetes with a high A1C. So I have been on this medication starting at 2.5 milligrams in February, going to 5 milligrams in April, I believe. And I have lost 34 pounds doing so. So 3 weeks ago now, I had gone up a dose to 7.5 and then stopped for 2 weeks to go on vacation and do all the things I had to do, kind of give my body a break. And then Saturday, when I returned from vacation, I took another 5 milligram injection. So I talked to her about dosing and about the fact that, I had less hunger suppression. Some of the food noise was starting to come back, and she wanted to up my dose to 7.5. I did express my concern. I'm a little scared to just jump right in. I really, really want to stay at the 5 as long as I can, but I don't think I'm doing myself any favors. And she did discuss that she has patients who kind of flip-flop between GLPs or GLP-1s. So she has patients that, especially when we were having a really bad shortage, she was prescribing between Zepbound and Wegovy, or Mounjaro and Ozempic, and kind of different medications back and forth. And she even suggested that I alternate weeks of 5 milligrams, 7.5, 5, 7.5. So I'm considering that, and I think that's what I'm going to do. And the reason being is I have 2 boxes of 5 milligrams, and I actually could have gotten a 3rd box. So what happened was she put the prescription in for 7.5. While I was on vacation, my automatic refill came through on the app for Walmart, and my 5 milligrams was ready last week when I was away. So I didn't run right to Walmart when I got back. I was going to wait until Tuesday because my doctor's office is like right near the Walmart. So my plan was go to my doctor's office, have my physical, and then go pick up mine and my son's prescriptions at Walmart. so she called in the 7.5. I go to Walmart and I am getting my son's medication. Now I'm getting my medication. And she's like kind of waiting for the pharmacist. And I was like, this is the 5 milligrams from last week. I said, it's in the refrigerator. And the pharmacist, who I've had a great relationship with, Jen, she's amazing at Walmart. She saw me and she goes, no, I'm working on the 7.5. You don't want that? And I said, oh, I was picking up the 5 from last week. I never thought the 7.5 would be ready or would even be in stock. I figured I'd have to wait. And she goes, no, I'm working on it right now. It'll be ready in like a minute. And I said, well, can I get both? And she goes, well, they already went through. And I was like, you know what? Let me not be that person. People are waiting for this medication. There's been a shortage. I do have the 2 boxes at home. I said, you know what? Let somebody else have it. Put it back in stock and I'll take the 7. So that's what I did. And it's funny because then the girl who was checking me out, she said, the insurance already authorized both of them. You don't want it? And I was like, no, they authorized it because they were 2 different dosages. Last week, they were approving the 5 milligrams. Yesterday, they were approving the 7, and there was like a week in between. And obviously, my doctor did dose me up. But I know that people are waiting for this medication. And I said, you know what? I would rather somebody else have it if they need it. Put it back on the shelf. Put it back in stock, please. And I have 8 pens in my hand right now. So I'm kind of debating, do I go another week or 2? Like, I'm still kind of on the fence with exactly what I'm going to do. But she did say that playing with the dosages in that way is perfectly fine, that she actually encourages switching back and forth so that your body doesn't get accustomed to one thing. So that's something I'm going to mention it to the nutritionist when I go there too. So I don't know. I haven't made a full decision as of today. I'm more apt to go 7.5 at this point because I will be starting work next month. And I don't want to then titrate up and have symptoms where I'm getting myself sick. But I also don't know that I'm ready to go full on. So I kind of like the idea of the alternating back and forth. So tell me, have any of you alternated back and forth for like a long period of time? Because this would probably be over the course of the next like 2 to 3 months, I would be doing that. So, I don't know. I'm considering it. I think I might do it. The doctor was completely on board with it. One thing I was not really on board with that she also mentioned was switching between like the Zepbound and the Wegovy. I'm not really there. I'm happy with the Zepbound. I think I'm going to stick with the Zepbound. Well, I know I'm sticking with the Zepbound. So that wasn't really something that I was like, the idea of that didn't really appeal to me. But the idea of switching back and forth between the 5, 7.5, because as you guys know from my vacation videos, that was 2 weeks without the medication. 100% this medication is still in your system. So yeah, I don't know. I'm considering doing that. So I'm curious on everybody's thoughts. And, this isn't just me coming up with this like willy-nilly idea, like my vacation idea, although she was on board with that too. Just so all of my naysayers, or my 2 or 3, wasn't thinking that was a great idea. I told the doctor what I did, 100% on board. She said that was the right thing to do. It's better to make your body so that you're not putting yourself in a situation where you're going to make yourself sick, i.e. the alcohol or any additional foods that I may have been eating. She said that's what she would have advised me to do, and that's what she has advised other patients to do, and that by doing it for the 2 weeks and not just the 1, that was a better option. So just for the record, if anybody is going on vacation and you're being treated by a doctor, I don't know what the situation is if anybody's taking any of these medications through online things, but if you're being treated by a doctor and you're going on a vacation, talk to your doctor, because my doctor was 100% on board and said that that's what she would have advised me to do. That was the right thing to do, especially where there was some alcohol involved, because I do know people, my sister-in-law was on vacation with me. She has been taking Ozempic. She can drink alcohol. She's perfectly fine. I cannot. My other sister-in-law who's on Ozempic cannot. So everybody's a little bit different in that regard. So yeah, so that's kind of where we are. And I will be doing another video in a couple of days as kind of like a whole 5-month recap. Spoiler alert, all of you were right. The weight gain from vacation, 100% fluid. It is almost all gone now. So that's awesome as well. And yeah, we're just trying to get back into a routine. So I'm going to leave you beautiful people here because this has been an extremely long video. If you have made it this far in the video, thank you so much for being here. You guys know how much I love you. If I forgot anything, I'll go through my notes and I'll recap it. I'm going to do another video in a couple of days for, the full 5 months and where we are and what's going on. So yeah, if you guys are new here, please go hit that subscribe button. It means so much to me. If you have any comments, any thoughts, suggestions, anything that you want to share, leave them in the comments. I do my best to respond to all of you. As we grow here, it is becoming a little bit more challenging, and I've got a lot going on the next 5 or 6 weeks. And we are heading back to New York for a couple of days, not to the ranch, but to Lake George and to my girlfriend's house. So we will be going away again next weekend. Yeah, so I think that's going to about do it. So everybody have a fantabulous day. It was so great chatting with all of you. It really just brings so much joy to my heart to be able to have you guys to talk to. I am going to do my best to be a little bit better with the Facebook group and posting things there. Again, things have just been so crazy busy that it's super hard to do. I forgot just how time-consuming and demanding an infant is, especially a 3-month-old who is definitely teething, my poor little angel. So yeah, I'm going to leave you guys here. Go give me some comments, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a share, all the things. And I will also link that group down below if you want to go and join that group. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. We'll talk soon. Have a good one.